Buggy's reputation in One Piece is one of one. As a viewer slash reader, we know that it's fabricated. Nonetheless, we must respect it. Walk with me. Hello motherfuckers, welcome back to Motherfucker Channel. Today, wait, I'm missing something. Oh, okay. Hello motherfuckers, welcome back to Motherfucker Channel. So today we'll be getting into the mischievous clown Buggy. Okay, we are ranking the Yonkos on my channel, and this week is all about Buggy, as on Friday we will also be dropping a theory video that coincides with this video, so make sure you're here for that. Buggy is one of my favorite characters, okay, so I had to go out. But before I start, please like and subscribe, as we are almost at 250 subscribers. This is the goal right now, so please like and subscribe. If you like real content and goofy content, I'm a real human, I'm not AI, so support me. Now, I've ranked Buggy in the Warlord series, okay? And what I do in these ranking videos is I go into a deep dive, going through all their story plot lines throughout the story, alphabetically from start to finish, giving their perspective on their story in One Piece. But I already did that, and I'm not going to do it again for this video. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit for Buggy in particular, as I want to ask the question, is Buggy a good Yonko? Now, I will answer this in this video, but I would love to know what you think. Do you think Buggy is a good Yonko? Like, where will he land against people like Big Mom or Kaidou or even Shanks? So we're going to look at what led him to become a Yonko, and also ultimately if he deserves the title, like I said. But also we're going to look at his main fights in the story, as it is rare for a Yonko to lose. So we're going to look at a few things here, okay? So walk with me. Now let's start with what led to Buggy's crowning of a Yonko. And it all started back on Impel Down, as the escapees mistook Buggy's fear slash anger as boldness or passion. The prisoners literally convinced themselves that Buggy is their savior, with these newfound followers going as far as threatening the other leaders of the riot from Impel Down, as Buggy wanted them to turn the ship around or just divert their route as they were making their way to Marineford. I mean, they did just escape Impel Down. I don't blame them, you know, like Impel Down was one thing, honestly, but when it comes to Marineford, you had the admirals, you had Sengoku, you had GARP, you had the warlords, everybody was there, and I'm not gonna lie, I'd be scared too, okay? So his new band of misfits would go on to press Crocodile, Luffy, Jinbei, Ivankov, Mr. One. It was honestly crazy work, okay? And I'm not saying that they would even make it past like Inozuma, for example, okay? You know, like, these niggas were absolutely dog water weak, but it just goes to show how quickly people will gravitate towards Buggy. But not only that, willing to risk their lives. They just seen what Luffy and Crocodile and Eva was doing back on Impel Down, you know? What makes them think that they could take them, you know? But that's just the beginning, because when they made it to Marineford, they would showcase their loyalty even more, once again mistaking Buggy's weakness as pure aggression, pushing him to take out Whitebeard, okay? They believed that Buggy could take out Whitebeard. It's delusional, but like, you have to respect like the integrity of these people, okay? And even with Buggy's excuses, they moved mountains, believing that, forcing themselves to believe that Buggy could do this, believing that Buggy is trying to wait for the right moment to take out Whitebeard. The prisoners were unwavering, okay? But what put him on a global scale was when they got their hands on a Denden Mushi, showcasing his POV of the war. And although most people were like, what? Oh, get this fucking freak off my screen. Me, it's literally me. And no matter how anybody felt that was watching that broadcast, it is a fact, Buggy's name was trending with the words Marineford. If they had Twitter, Buggy would be trending, okay? So much so that after the war, Buggy was invited to be one of 7 warlords, okay? That's insane. It's insane that he even made it that far. But people believed in him, not only his crew, but other people around the world were starting to look at Buggy like, okay, maybe this guy has some potential. And we have to pause here because Marineford was the first step at becoming an emperor, okay? Just like the people outside of Marineford that were watching from the broadcast, we as readers, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. At that point, Buggy's presence and influence was starting to be felt around the world. And in the words of a legend, me, if Weevil could become a warlord, god damn it, Buggy can too. Fuck. Now during the time skip, Buggy's influence expanded tenfold. His crew got bigger, his business was booming thanks to Crocodile. But suddenly, the warlord system was dissolved, pulling the rug right beneath Buggy's feet. But soon Crocodile would come and try to get his bag back from Buggy, and he brought Mihawk with him. And they managed to strike a deal. Crocodile and Mihawk get a percentage of Buggy's delivery service, where Buggy's loyal crew would go on to create a poster for these 3, okay? With Buggy's face smack dead in the middle, creating what we now know today as Cross Guild, the legendary trio link up. I'm sorry, I love Cross Guild. I want to see more of Cross Guild, okay? But once again, dead center in the middle, as if he is the leader of the pack, with Crocodile and Mihawk being his underlings. And they would send the poster out before it could be fixed. And when the world government sees this, they he must have a lot of power and influence. He's that guy. To not only have the world's strongest swordsman, but also an ex-warlord who almost took over an entire country at his becking call, he must be that guy. They would dub him one of 4 emperors. Okay, that's how Buggy became an emperor. And now is one of the most influential figures in this era. Okay, let's just be real. And now it's time to question, does he deserve this title? Okay, yes or no? And it's gonna be simple for me. Yes and no. I'm gonna be real, because it's more complicated than you think. Because yes, Yonkos must be very strong to protect not only their crews, but their territories, and also just be a solid powerhouse, okay? So let's look at some of Buggy's fights to see if he is a powerhouse to be reckoned with. And let's start way back when Luffy and Buggy first encountered each other back in the East Blue. Buggy causes havoc anywhere he goes, okay? And at that point, he was terrorizing Orange Town. That is until the Straw Hats arrive. And yes, he was kind of going back and forth with Luffy, as Buggy was a very early villain, so they had to give Luffy some trouble, okay? But this was base form Luffy 20 plus years ago. And Buggy lost, actually being kicked off the island by Luffy, okay? And this was his first loss that we see so far. And after this, he mainly stayed away from confrontation, so in Impel Down, he remained chill. That is until the riots started happening and Buggy found himself in a fight with Hannibal. And not only was it Buggy in this fight, it was also Mr. 5, but Hannibal ends up taking out Buggy and Mr. 5, which is, it's like, come on now. It's 2 of y'all versus Hannibal. I don't know. I don't know. Another major loss for Buggy the Star. Now moving on to Marineford, Buggy once again was trying to, stay to his own, stick to his own. He wasn't trying to fight nobody, even though he was telling his newfound crew that he wanted to. He didn't have the plans to do it. But suddenly he was pulled in by Luffy, who was trying to block an attack from Mihawk, calling it Gum Gum Human Shield, okay? This moment is funny. I'm sorry. That's what I be saying. I enjoy Buggy because any part that he's in the story, it's kind of funny, okay? Mihawk would slice Buggy up into a bunch of tiny pieces. But Buggy's devil fruit, you know, he can't take slicing attacks. Sword attacks don't work on Buggy. So he would go on to retaliate with a Muggy Ball. But it blows up in his face, quite literally. Yet another loss for Buggy. But honestly, he had no chance against Mihawk. Let's be real. Hannibal, yeah. Honestly, I could see it. Buggy's just kind of a pussy. So, like, if he really wanted to put in work, he could. But there's nothing you can do against Mihawk. And as of recent, he is being pummeled by Mihawk and Crocodile, leaving him black and blue. But once again, there's nothing Buggy can do against Mihawk and Crocodile. No, I'm sorry. There's just not. Now, yes, Buggy has lost most of his fights in the story. So to re-answer the question, no. Buggy does not deserve to be a Yonko. A Yonko, for the minimum, the absolute minimum, should be someone that can go toe-to-toe with their ops, holding their own in a fight. And Buggy has done no such thing, so for the most part, people overlook Buggy. But that's not Buggy's strong suit. Walk with me. The Emperor system was created to keep balance over the turbulent seas. Keyword, balance. And honestly, within Buggy's circle, I genuinely, oh my god, believe that Buggy does keep the balance. His Buggy delivery system is a huge business, okay? That influence is affecting One Piece's economy on a global scale. Buggy is quite literally moving the world. Although he is not strong and loses to every single emperor in the story canonically, his presence is important nonetheless. Now, on top of that, you also have to add his experience as a pirate, okay? He once sailed with Goldie Roger, okay? Not only that, he was really very much close to Shanks. Shanks is the world's, you know, after Whitebeard, honestly, are we in Kaido's defeat? Shanks is the strongest pirate. I know Kaido was considered the strongest beast, whatever, and even before then, let's be real, Shanks was stronger than Kaido. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. But right now, Shanks is the strongest pirate on the seas. Maybe next to Luffy, probably Blackbeard as well. But Buggy has a very close relationship with Shanks, whether the people believe it or not. They do. Not to mention Buggy's will to bring everyone together, okay? It's very commendable. It is. People will drop their everything that they're doing or everything they have going to go and fight with Buggy. For example, one of the prisoners on their way out of Impel Down, they were excited to go home and become a father again and stuff like that. And now suddenly they're sailing the seas with Buggy, okay? Forget all that, okay? I want to sail with Buggy. So yes, in my opinion, he also deserves the title of Yonko, okay? Not every Yonko, I mean, 1 of 4 Yonkos can be weak, right? You know? Now, before I rank Buggy in this ranking system, I want to give my thoughts and predictions. Overall, Buggy is a fun character, okay? Win or lose, he always comes out on top, okay? I love seeing him on the screen. Either way, I am a avid Buggy enjoyer, okay? I really am. His enthusiasm is so powerful that it almost sneaks out of the series and you low-key want to root for him. Maybe I'm just delusional. And once again, commendable, as he came such a long way. From a subordinate under the king of the pirates, Goldie Roger, to a lowly pirate, to a prisoner, to a warlord, to finally Yonko of the Sea. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a story And I respect that story. I do. The determination to survive with Buggy is it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Now let's get into some Buggy predictions. The whole cross guild situation, in my opinion, will continue to grow, with ex-members of the warlords continuing to join Buggy, like Moria or doflamingo or even Boa Hancock, strengthening that faction with Buggy still steering the ship as the figurehead. And with that growth, in my opinion, it will lead to success, as they will make it to the final island. Cross Guild is a faction I see in the end of the story, and it's because of Buggy. Okay, with doflamingo joining Cross Guild, doflamingo has information about the Marie-Joie's national treasure. That could be a huge thing for Cross Guild to continue to make it to where they need to go. But right now they are far from being a front runner to grab the One Piece and becoming that faction that is known as the King of the Pirates. But with that information from doflamingo, it could definitely push them far beyond our expectations, the world's expectations. We'll see. And eventually, after everything is said and done, I do see the Cross Guild members going their separate ways, with Buggy finally being able to hold 100% stake in his own company. Okay, paying Crocodile back what he needs to pay Crocodile back, getting him off his back. Buggy will be the front runner in his own life once again. And I said it in my Warlords prediction when I ranked Buggy in the Warlords, that Buggy will end up being a very successful businessman, as he just wants treasure. Okay, he doesn't want to fight. He's not really looking to have rivals or anything like that. He simply wants money and treasure, and he will get that. At the end of the story, he will get that, because I also think, this is my last prediction, that he will find Captain John's iconic treasure that he has been searching for since the beginning of the story. That will be the last time we see Buggy, okay, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give Buggy the rank B. When it comes to standing next to the other Yonko, Buggy is a B tier Yonko, okay? Presence and influence and power is very important when it comes to the Yonko system, and in the world government's eyes, and you know, the people that aren't in the Cross Guild circle, Buggy is powerful, influential. He has it all. Now, overall, I will give Buggy an S tier. I think he is an S tier character. I think he's funny. I think he has a different POV than everyone else in the story, and I just like that. Either way, Buggy's presence is very important, okay? I would love to know where you would rank Buggy on this ranking list, honestly. And I would love to know your thoughts on Buggy. Like I said, he's one of my favorite characters. I'm not going to keep saying it. You can see I love Buggy. Now make sure you're back here on Friday, as we will be getting into some Buggy theories. These ones we haven't talked about yet, and I'm very excited for these, so yeah, be there. And make sure you go check out my Whitebeard episode of this ranking system. So good. Last week was so fun. I love Whitebeard, but I also love Buggy too. This week is also fun. I get to dress up as a character too, so that's pretty fun. But make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, we just hit 240 subscribers, so I'm so here for it. We're trying to get to 200. The overall goal is 1,000. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll stop asking. Okay. I just that's the goal right now, and I'm manifesting it. Manifest with me. Yeah. Now, just like with my rocks theories, we must dig deep for these Buggy theories. Okay. So walk with me. So today we will be getting into some Buggy theories. These are the Buggy files, okay? I'm so excited about this because Buggy is one of my favorite characters. I love his theories, blah, blah, blah. But I said we had to dig deep for these, as we've already covered some of Buggy's most biggest theories, okay? And even in my, I think I created it, the Clown Valley incident, okay? So that's a fun one. I love that theory, but these ones, we gotta keep walking. Now, before I start, as of filming, we just hit 240 subscribers. So excited. Please like and subscribe, as the goal is 250. The overall goal is 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, I'll stop asking. Whatever, what are you gonna do? But if you like One Piece content and content that is not AI generated, okay, hello, I'm your guy. But let's get into these Buggy theories. The first one is more of a prediction than it is a theory. Buggy will be the next pirate king. Walk with me, okay? So Buggy is one of the, if not the most luckiest people in One Piece, going on to achieve the impossible. From escaping the inescapable impelled down, to make it out of Marineford alive, and going on to become a warlord, as he was just in impelled down, and even managing to become a Yonko of the sea. And Oda loves Buggy. 100% could see Buggy being the next pirate king for a short time before Luffy. Now, how does one become king of the pirates? By making it to the final island and obtaining the legendary One Piece. Here's the plot line, okay? Cross Guild makes it to Laugh Tale, right? Buggy claims the One Piece, becoming the king of the pirates for a split second, when suddenly Luffy appears, KOing the current strongest person in the world of One Piece, with the One Piece falling out of Buggy's hands into the right hands, with Luffy becoming the Pirate King. And honestly, I could see something like that happening, or something goofier, like he grabs the One Piece or something if it's grabbable, and it falls out of his hands somehow, some way or something, and loses the title just as fast as he gained it. But nonetheless, for a very short time, Buggy will be the next Pirate King. Okay, I want to know what you think about that. Okay, I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and like I said, Oda loves Buggy, so I could see this happening. We did not think Buggy was going to be an emperor of the seas when we first saw him in Orange Town, okay, and Luffy kicked him in the nuts. How? Okay, so honestly, I could see him going a step above Yonko, becoming the Pirate King for a short time. Now, another way I could see Buggy losing the One Piece is the One Piece will simply reject Buggy. As in Roger's words, Roger couldn't obtain the One Piece fully as he didn't have the Nika fruit. And in my opinion, One Piece and the Nika fruit and Joy Boy, whatever, they all mash together, okay? Buggy just isn't a part of that equation. No matter how lucky you are or whatever you stumble upon and you get your way, it doesn't matter when it comes to fate, okay? Now, next, I want to reinstate my Clown Valley incident theory real quick, so just walk with me. It's just going to be a quick recap. Basically, there was an entire country/island full of the clown race, and a world noble native hunting competition took place on this island. Just like with what happened at God Valley, the people of this island were completely obliterated along with the island itself, completely ridding the clown race except two individuals, with one being Buggy and the other one leads me into my next theory, so keep walking. I believe Caesar Clown is related to Buggy the Clown. I mean, it's kind of obvious, okay? Buggy is a literal clown and Caesar's last name is Clown. Not to mention, the two have very similar personalities, both being cowards and really only doing things for themselves. And maybe that is a trait within the clown community, the clown race, to be, you know, scaredy cats or whatever. Or it is a trauma response from the Clown Valley incident. Now, when it comes to appearances, right, Buggy's main clown trope is his nose, while Caesar doesn't have the nose, right? So cutting him out can't be a clown. Wait a second. Caesar is a scientist, right? and could have come up with a way to remove the nose, making it look like a natural nose. So he could be left alone after the Clown Valley incident, so nobody would come for him, you know, like Kuma, for example. Kuma has been being hunted down for his entire life, and it's because he was a rare race that they didn't want to exist anymore for some reason or another, okay? And Caesar knew that that could possibly be his fate. He'd be chased down for the rest of his life, whatever. So he would go on to remove the nose. And nonetheless, Caesar has clown qualities, okay? With the makeup and stuff, Buggy has low-key similar makeup. I would look at Caesar more as a punk type clown than Buggy's traditional red nose type clown. So he would remove the nose and completely rid himself of anything that is related to clown, except the last name, just taking pride in him being a clown and keeping the last name, but nobody questions it, okay? Honoring his late race. Now, that's crazy. It's a crazy theory, but I'm really into it because I don't know, I kind of believe it, okay? I was there on Clown Valley, okay? I was there, so I know that is true. So let me know your thoughts on Caesar the Clown / Clown Valley. I would love to know. Now let's move on to Buggy's legendary devil fruit. And the possibility that it is not the Barabar no Mi or the Chop Chop fruit, but instead it is simply the Luck fruit. Walk with me. The fruit allows the user to chop their body or be chopped into several different pieces. Now where does the luck come in at all this, okay? Well, it's simple, okay? If let's say there's a raffle, there's 20 tickets, okay? Buggy chops his body up into 20 different pieces. One of those pieces will win, ultimately giving you the best hand in life. This could explain why Buggy has continued to fail upwards ever since eating that fruit, holding seats in rooms that he absolutely shouldn't, okay? Now, I would love to know your thought on that theory as well. If Buggy has a luck fruit, okay? Like I said, he's lucky. He's a lucky man. And it just seems to come out of nowhere, okay? So, I don't know. There's instances where devil fruits aren't actually what they say they are, or they have a hidden meaning behind them, and I think that could be one of them. Now, this next theory is low-key a bonus theory, okay? So, walk with me. Buggy will split or chop the red line, okay? Now, this is going as far as saying Buggy will become the Pirate King, as it is thought that Luffy will be the one to destroy the red line. But what if it's Buggy? And I love the Chop Chop fruit, and it's simply for its potential and how if Oda really fucking wanted to, he could put the Chop Chop fruit on the same destructive power as the Tremor fruit, okay? Hello? If awakened, let me say that, okay? The potential for the Chop Chop fruit is immense, okay? The destruction power that it could hold would be insane. So insane that I could see it splitting the red line if it is awakened, okay? Let me keep saying that, if it is awakened. And like I said, everybody thinks that it will be Luffy that does it, and I agree. But what if Buggy makes it seem like he is the one who did it? In Buggy fashion, true Buggy fashion, Buggy does this a lot, okay? He made it seem like he was the one opening the gates of justice as they were entering Marineford. So I don't put it past him or Oda to do something like this or make it seem like he did it, okay? I would love to know your thoughts on that theory as well. Buggy breaking the red line, that would be absolutely crazy. Now for a recap of my Buggy theories. First of all, we spoke about the possibility that Buggy would become the Pirate King for a brief moment before Luffy. Then we brought back my iconic Clown Valley incident theory, where Buggy basically went through what Blackbeard went through on God Valley. It's the same World Noble hunting competition happened on this Clown Valley incident, okay? And then we theorized about Buggy and Caesar the Clown being related. I fully believe this theory now that I'm really talking about it. I believe it. And finally, we talk about Buggy's true devil fruit power and how it could be the luck fruit, okay? I would love to know your thoughts on these Buggy theories. Please let me know down below. I know some of them are crazy, but it's fucking Buggy. Buggy can do whatever he wants. And make sure you go check out my Buggy ranking video for the Yonko series. So good. Love it. Love it. I love to see Buggy. I do. Buggy's one of my faves. So go check that out. Also, come back next week as we will be getting into the Kaidou files in the theories and the ranking, whatever. We'll be getting into Kaidou. So excited about that. And once again, we just hit 240 subscribers. So please, please, please like and subscribe. But that is a wrap on the Buggy episodes of my Ranking the Yonkos series. So please go check out the rest of the rankings. Whitebeard, we did Rocks as well, even though Rocks wasn't a Yonko, whatever. I explained it in the video. Go check it out. But I would love to know your thoughts on Buggy and everything that surrounds him. Give me more theories. I would love to talk about more Buggy theories in the future. The most lucky and unluckiest person in One Piece. Someone who continues to fail upwards. The steadfast, ambitious jester, Buggy the Clown. Today, we are continuing in my series of ranking the warlords, and today and this week is all about Buggy. Buggy! Last week we did Crocodile, and the week before that we did Mihawk, and we also did Gecko Moria a while ago. But right now I'm feeling this cross guild oomph. Okay, I have a lot of stocks in cross guild, so I just wanted to do the cross guild boys real quick. But before I start, please like and subscribe. We are almost at 7K, so get on the train before it's too late. Now let's start with Buggy's basic stats. Currently 39 years old, born March 8th. Standing at 192 centimeters or 6'4" for my American people out here, with a ridiculous bounty of 3,189,000,000 berries. That bounty is insane. That's more than Luffy's bounty, okay? That's insane. That's an insane fucking bounty. Shout out to Buggy. He has the Bara nami, or the Chop fruits, which is one of my favorite fruits in the series. I think it just has so much potential. Of the awakening, I think it would be so fucking peak. Okay, now let's talk about Buggy's basic timeline in the story of One Piece that we've seen so far. Born somewhere on the Grand Line 39 years ago. And at least since the age of 9, Buggy was with the Roger Pirates as an apprentice. On this crew, he meets Shanks, where they sort of become like friends in a way. It's like friends that you have a lot of disagreements with, but you guys are still like locked in low-key. That was their relationship on the crew. And after the crew raided a random ship, they find the Chop fruit, where Buggy goes on to pretend to eat it, but actually hiding it away, with the plans of leaving the Roger Pirates, selling the devil fruit, and becoming rich. But, oh no, Shanks actually puts it in his mouth, and Buggy accidentally eats it. Okay, so Buggy didn't want the devil fruit, but the devil fruit came to him in a way. And it just goes to show, even in his younger years, he was failing upwards. I mean, sailing with the Roger Pirates, the king of the pirates, not at that time, he wasn't the king of the pirates yet, but still, sailing with Roger. Roger was known worldwide as a celebrity amongst the pirates. And also having this broken, in my opinion, could be broken devil fruit. And basically after Buggy eats this devil fruit on accident because of Shanks, and losing his map all in the same moment, okay, Buggy basically declares a grudge against Shanks, which, I mean, if you didn't want a devil fruit, you can't swim. You know, he couldn't go in the water to get his map. You can't swim. There's some outs to having a devil fruit. So, I mean, I get it. I get why Buggy was pissed, okay? So the crew continues to sail all throughout the world, from Skypiea to fucking Wano to Fishman Island, everywhere in the story that you can think of, searching for the last island in the world. But As they find the final island, Buggy gets sick. Okay, I think this was destiny. Personally, I don't think Buggy was meant to see what was on the final island as of yet. But since he was sick, it forced him and Shanks to stay behind on the harbor. And they didn't get to see the One Piece itself. But in that moment, Buggy and Shanks made a commitment to each other that they will sail together one day and get to the final island, Laugh Tale. But after all this, Roger becomes Pirate King. They are on top of the world until Roger decides to disband the Roger Pirates. Everyone going their separate ways and whatnot. And a year later, after all this, Roger is executed, where we see all the big names here witness Roger's execution. They all witnessed the Pirate King's beheading, unfortunately. And after this, Buggy reminds Shanks of their promise that they made to go sail after the One Piece themselves. But Shanks says he wasn't ready to do that at that time. But with Shanks not being ready, Buggy was upset with this and proclaimed that the next time they see each other, they will be enemies. Now Buggy is grown up, okay? And he founds the Buggy Pirates, okay? That only do piratey things to small, weak villages. And about 4-ish years ago, they end up taking over a small village called Orange Town, where he stays at until Nami and Luffy and the boys pull up onto this island. Where Luffy and Buggy end up fighting, and Buggy actually sticks his little 3 claws into the top of the straw hat, leaving a mark on the straw hat to this day. I think that's a very important moment that I had to point out. Luffy ends up defeating Buggy, sending him flying off of Orange Town in a spectacular way. And after this, Buggy finds his way to a small island with only a few pieces of his body, mind you. Nigga was looking crazy as fuck. Where Buggy runs into Gaimon, the little man with the green afro that's stuck in the treasure chest. And after leaving Gaimon, Buggy runs into Elvita, where him and Elvita create a sort of a little pirate alliance with the same intention of getting revenge on Luffy, where they track Luffy and crew all the way to Log Town, where Buggy ends up trapping Luffy under the same guillotine platform thing that literally was Roger's execution spot, with the plans to kill Luffy right then and there, but was stopped by Dragon, now that we all know, quickly being captured by Smoker. But just as fast as he was captured, he was released because Dragon sends a wind wave down the streets of Log Town, and Buggy decides to enter the Grand Line. But they end up figuring out that Luffy's bounty actually went up to 100 million. Now the plans of chasing Luffy down and getting that bounty seem a lot more rewarding. But sometime after this, Buggy once again was on the wrong island, where he thought a cave held Captain John's treasure, but whole time it was a marine garrison. So he was arrested, and he is sent to level 1 Impel Down, where he actually makes a few attempts to escape, but they all fail. That is until Luffy shows up. Luffy, who wants to go to Marineford to save his brother, breaks in to Impel Down and has this big riot, okay, where all the prisoners escape. Buggy was one of the prisoners. And they make their way to Marineford. And this is where Buggy becomes a living legend. Let's start off with this. Buggy was making it seem like he was the reason that the gates of justice opened, and some of the prisoners, the grunts, the, fodder pirates, overhear Buggy saying that he wants to kill Kizaru, which they admire. Okay, yes, our Pirate King. And from this moment, they start pleading their loyalty to Buggy, getting behind him like, go off, King. Gaining allies through Marineford as the war went on. But for the most part, trying to stay out the way so he doesn't have to fight. Buggy is not a fighter, okay? And in the middle of this fight, we see that his prisoner lackeys have a Den Mushi, a video transponder now that they stole from Impel Down. But before they could start broadcasting, Kuzan freezes everything, okay? So they're stuck in there. But later become free from Akainu raining down one of his insane magma fist things, going crazy. and Buggy swears revenge on the Marines. And these lackeys are eating it up, just feeding his ego in a way, but also still gaining followers as time goes on. And the snail goes on to regain consciousness, and they continue filming, where unknowingly he's making it seem like he is absolutely aura farming. Okay, and people take notice to this. But after seeing Akainu kill Ace, Buggy tries to escape. He tries to fly away when all of a sudden Luffy and Jinbei fall into his arms. Buggy gives Jinbei and Luffy to Trafalgar Law, and after this, Shanks shows up, where Shanks lies to Buggy and says that he will give him a treasure map, a legendary treasure map, if he returns the Straw Hat to Luffy. And they end up escaping Marineford somehow, some way. The resilient Buggy, hello. And after escaping Marineford with his new crewmates, he links back up with his old crewmates and gets an invitation to be a warlord. And he goes on to use this newfound freedom of a warlord to start up Buggy's delivery business. I love this. Personally, I love this because it just shows that Buggy is kind of a businessman at the end of the day. He wanted treasure, but he also wants money, you know, like the treasure would give him money, but he's a businessman, like he needs to get it done. And that was with the help of some funds that Crocodile gave to Buggy to start up this business. He just wanted to be a chill guy, a chill CEO guy, you know, and I fucking respect that. But not too long after this, the warlord system was dissolved, bringing a short but kind of successful end to Buggy's reign as a warlord, and almost being arrested, that is until being saved at the last moment by Crocodile, where Crocodile came here to get his money. Like, you owe me money, bitch, for this company. Run me my money. But Buggy just doesn't have this money, and that is when he offers Crocodile a percentage of the company. Like, you use the company for free, whatever. And this creates Cross Guild, okay? I love Cross Guild. I keep saying it, like, I love it so much. And this all comes into play because one of Buggy's subordinates makes the poster for the company, the Cross Guild company, and put Buggy's face right in smack dab in the middle, making it seem like he was the leader of this group. I mean, because in the eyes of his subordinates, he's that guy to them. So it makes sense why they did it. But after the world finds out about this, the papers get a hold of it, Cross Guild, the new link up with pirates, Buggy is crowned an Emperor of the Sea. You love to see it. You love to fucking see it. Me personally, I do. And my legend of the sea goes on to say he wants to become the Pirate King and go get the One Piece. And that is what Cross Guild is currently doing right now. And all his crewmates hear that on the loudspeaker, basically, that was accidentally left on. And they are just overjoyed, okay? I respect it. I'm sorry, Buggy just continued to fail upward. Now that you're caught up with our favorite clown, let's get into some predictions of where Buggy is going to go in the future. Buggy will go on to make it to Laugh Tale. Cross Guild will make it to Laugh Tale, and Shanks will also make it to Laugh Tale around the same time. They're going to be on the island at the same time, and in some misconstrued way, keeping that promise that they made to each other when they were just kids. But not only this, I feel like Buggy will play a huge role in the final war. I mean, look at his delivery system in place right now. Getting weapons throughout the world would be easy for that. I feel like that's kind of the role that he's going to play, but who knows? I feel like the Chop Chop Fruit Awaken could be different, and he could play a crazy role. Okay? But I don't know. Just prediction. And I feel like he will go down in history as one of the most legendary pirates in the history, okay? And people will talk about him like how they talk about Rocks, okay? Now, I said this with the same thing with Crocodile. Not in that scale of Rocks, because Rocks did some absolutely crazy shit, but in a way, he will be talked about for centuries, whether people think it or not. And after all is said and done, I feel like Buggy will go on to find John's treasure, you know, and find his peace. Okay, Buggy's peace, and probably live out his days as the CEO of Buggy delivery service. That's where I see Buggy at 30, 40, 50 years into the future. I love seeing Buggy win or lose. I just love seeing Buggy. I think he's very entertaining. Okay, and where would I rank him on this ranking system? I have to give Buggy an A+, okay? If I'm looking at how I'm ranking these warlords, it's if they fail, okay, but did they get back up again? Gecko Moria didn't. Crocodile did, but still continued to fail, and now is an underling. Looked at as an underling of Buggy, okay? Buggy is successful in the way that he didn't expect to be, and I feel like he's gonna be even more successful in the future, okay? So I have to give Buggy an A+. He's right up there with Mihawk, in my opinion. Not everything is about strength, okay? I do think Mihawk is the strongest here so far, but I think Buggy's intuition and his fate carry him a long fucking way. I love Buggy, sorry, I mean, I just do. It is what it is. But I want to know what you guys think about Buggy's story and his prediction, where he's going to go in the future. We love Buggy here on this channel. He's one of my favorite characters in One Piece, but I would like to know what you guys think. Stop. Right there. I have some Buggy theories I think that we need to talk about and you need to hear. Walk with me. Today I want to speculate on Buggy's lineage, okay? I mean, like, before you click off, just look at the guy. Look at him. Something isn't right here, okay? But before I start, please like and subscribe. We are almost at 7K. I would appreciate it very much. We are currently ranking the warlords here on my channel. And after I rank the warlord, I like to drop a little theory video in ties of the ranking video. So go watch the ranking if you want. And now it's Buggy's turn. We're in the Cross Guild here right now, okay? But let's get into this. Let's start with the one that everybody is talking about as of recent. Buggy being Rox's son. Why do people think this, okay? Let's look at some proof. Their bounty posters look mad similar, okay? If we put a red nose on Rox, hey, same fucking person. It's the same person. But somebody did point out the other day, Oda has drawn over 1,000 characters, so there will be some overlap here and there, but this just feels too weird, okay? Like, tongue sticking out, big wide smile, you know, it's kind of strange. Same eyes. It's weird, right? Now Rox's real son, the one that we know is his son, Blackbeard, seems to be making similar moves to what Rox was doing in his time, taking his rightful place on the throne, the empty throne that Emu sits on, that at one point was Davy Jones. Blackbeard wants the world, so in turn he's trying to be the king of the world. But on the other hand, Buggy is also sort of falling into those footsteps, weirdly, with Cross Guild and the Rocks Pirates having similarities, okay? Like one pirate crew, but several captain level crew members led by one person. And when we look back at Rox's crew, they took him serious, but also they like didn't give a fuck, you know? I mean, they were there through Davy backfight, so they kind of had to be there. When you look at Buggy's situation, his two main people that are on his crew right now, Crocodile and Mihawk, they don't give a fuck about this person, you know? But I feel like they have his back, you know what I'm saying? Like, the crews are very similar in a way. Now, more proof on this theory is we just got the actual official coloring for Rox's hair. We all know he has two-toned hair, and we all, like, we're speculating it's gonna be pink and orange because Oda loves to do crazy, outlandish shit lately in the story. In my opinion, I think it's clean as fuck. Buggy is known for his luscious blue locks. Okay, hello? Honestly, I have more here on this theory, but that right there, when we got revealed the color of his hair, sold me. Fully sold me on this theory. And both Buggy and Rox lost to the Pirate King's will. Buggy lost to Luffy, and Rox lost to Roger. Now, when Rox was introduced to us on Elbaf, you see in the background a huge Elbafian mountain. I pointed this out before. Mountains in Elbaf have to be ginormous, okay? We just see it split in half somehow. Why? How? Why? How? Why? And that leads me and other people, okay? I'm a huge fan of this theory right here, that rocks had the chop chop fruit, which we all know is Buggy's devil fruit. An awakened version of that devil fruit, of course. Okay, enough with the speculations. Let's talk about facts. Buggy is 39 years old, okay? God Valley happened 38 years ago. So in that time leading up to God Valley, Rocks definitely could have cracked somebody else and had another baby. Easily, you know? Men in One Piece are not faithful, you know? They're not good guys. Like, at the end of the day, some of them are. Okay, let's be real. But they're pirates. It could have happened. And moving on from that Rocks theory, now another fact is Buggy has a clown nose. I mean, we indeed are looking at a fucking clown. A clown. What if he's just not related to Rocks at all? But I think he is. But what if there is a whole clan of these people out there? A whole country full of clowns. We need to look at facts. Again, Buggy is a clown. We are looking at a clown. Red nose, he is a fucking clown. But why? Why? What makes, like, we're looking at a clown. There's no other clowns in the story. Why? And with that fact alone, his lineage has to be special. Has to be. Let's put Rocks aside. I definitely think he is related to Rocks some way, some shape, some form. But the clown lineage is still there. Regardless, take Rocks out of the story. He's still a fucking clown. Where? Why? Like, he has to come from somewhere. Like, the clown nose just doesn't come from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And we're going back to speculation town here. Okay? Let's say that there is an entire country of these clown people out there somewhere in the world of One Piece. But what if there isn't, or isn't anymore? What if what happened on God Valley also happened on this clown island? Because we know that the cleansing happens every few years. What if Buggy was saved by Roger somehow, some way down the line, because this cleansing was happening and the island was going away, wiping away the entire clown lineage outside of Buggy? And we know just because you are one of the last of your lineage, you know that you will be tracked down. I mean, look at Kuma, but in some cases you're not. Blackbeard was a warlord and an emperor now, and he's part of the Davy clan, okay? Like, they have to see that, you know? Like, Emu felt Davy Jones' presence in Rocks. They have to feel that with Blackbeard, you know? Maybe they haven't felt it yet, okay? But there's things that point to this. And it's like every other race has their own island. Why wouldn't the clown people have their own island? Like I said, I don't think the clown nose just came out of nowhere. That is his real nose, because we don't know Buggy's true beginnings, and personally I'm looking forward to that Buggy flashback. I don't know, I'm just a huge fan of Buggy, and I think his story will continue to be interesting, and was interesting as he was growing up. You know, I would love to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Buggy is related to Rocks and Blackbeard, or do you just think that Buggy's lineage overall is important and he was part of this big clown world, you know, on an island somewhere on the Grand Line? Because that's what I'm thinking, but also I like the idea of him being Rocks' son somehow, some way. But yeah, go check out my series on the Warlords, and I guess that's it. Wait 1 second, please. I know I sound crazy, but just walk with me. Today I have a One Piece theory. My theory, I kind of came up with it a little bit by myself. A little bit. I'm adding on to a theory that's already kind of out there. Now, I just posted a bunch of videos about what's going on God Valley. Please go watch them. What did Rocks say to Roger? Why are Rocks and GARP and Roger fighting? We're almost at 7K, so please like and subscribe, and let's get into this. Davy Jones was just introduced into the story through Rox D. Zebek and the Davy clan, and his importance will have a huge impact in the story.
Okay, so I filmed this video before chapter 1164 was actually dropped, and I was so right. I mean, we all knew Davy Jones was going to have a bigger role in the story, but turns out he was the king of the old world, which is insane. So just keep walking with me.
Let's start here. A huge theory in the One Piece community is somebody in the past had an awakened devil fruit, which is the chop fruit, and chopped up the poneglyphs and spread them around the world somehow, some way. What if that person was Davy Jones? Walk with me.
And obviously we know that he was very important back in the day. Rox called him the king of the world or whatever, but Emu says that he was no king, so obviously he was either a threat or somebody that Emu just didn't like, or was with somebody that he didn't like. What if he was with Joy Boy, or like on Joy Boy's crew or something like that, like a Vivi type character?
We know that Davy Jones was sent to the bottom of the sea to reside there by the devil themselves. That's what Robin told us. We know it's because he steals treasure, even from his own crewmates, okay? Now, what would make that super easy is to chop it all up, and the only person that can put it back together is the user of the chop fruit, which is Davy. But here's where things kind of get interesting, okay? Because I also just posted a video about how Rox was misunderstood, how we weren't thinking Rox was a good guy. But what if it all was a lie? What if Davy just wasn't a bad guy, okay? What if Davy Jones was allies with Joy Boy in the past? What if? And in order for the history to not be destroyed, he chopped them up, and somebody else that was in the crew, or you know, just allies with Joy Boy, had the paw fruit and sent them around the world. I haven't really put my finger on who I think would have the paw fruit, and it was all a lie. That's why he was sent to the bottom of the sea by the devil, who I'm guessing is Emu, because in Emu's eyes, that is the ultimate sin, getting the truth out there. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little theory here. You know, Davy Jones will be important. He wasn't mentioned or revealed for no reason. I feel like he will be important, and if I'm right, that's crazy. But I don't know. I'm just speculating here, you know. But this is my One Piece channel. I post a lot of One Piece content, okay? So walk with me, stick with me, you know? So stick with me, and the speculation for Rox is getting too real, especially what his power is. On the way channel. Today I want to speculate on Rox's devil fruits here, okay? Walk with me. What's crazy about this is I just posted a video on the flip side of this topic. I don't think Rox has a devil fruit, okay? So go watch that, see my thoughts. But if he does, these are the ones that I think he may have. We don't really see him attack, okay? It's right before the fight and then jumping to the end. We see that with the Admiral on Marie-Joie. We see him do that with Harold, and we also see that with Garling, okay? His new name is Offscreen Zebek.
I just want you to keep in mind that this was filmed before 1164, 1165. So right now they're fighting on God Valley, Roger, Garp, and Rox. And even in this fight, we still don't see him use a devil fruit or anything like that. It's just hockey. So my hockey theory is kind of spilling right now, I'm not gonna lie.
And all this is just a setup for his power reveal, okay? And I think it could go one or two ways. And for this, I'm just gonna say it right here, okay? Let me just put it out there. I think Rox has the Octopody model Kraken. Hear me out. I also speculate that Blackbeard has this fruit, okay? We know they're related, okay? Father, son. And that's why we have yet to see Rock's fight, because it will reveal Blackbeard's devil fruit and obviously Rock's devil fruit. I really can't say why I think this, but it is a huge theory in the One Piece community that Blackbeard has this Kraken devil fruit, Akpa Teddy Nami. But another devil fruit that I think he has, and honestly I'm hoping it's this one more than the Akpa Teddy devil fruit, and that is the Chop Chop fruit. Buggy's devil fruit. An awakened version of that devil fruit, okay?
I literally just posted a video of my Davy Jones theory that he could have possibly had the Chop Chop fruit, so go check that out as well.
I'm delusional. I want Rocks and Buggy to be related so bad. So bad. And the Chop Chop fruit I feel like is very underrated and will be insane if it's awakened. So really where this comes from is when Rocks is introduced into the story, we see him do the two with his fingers, and it's because he has two questions, but also he could be doing a power, because in the background we see a mountain on Elbaf. Mountains in Elbaf are not just regular mountains, by the way. They're sizes of moons. Let's be real, because the One Piece the One Piece world is huge, okay? So on Elbaf, the land of the giants, the mountains are huge as fuck. And we see it just be cut in half. How? Why? And I think it's because Rocks chops it in half with the Chop Chop fruit. But that's the awakened version, okay? Buggy hasn't reached that level. Maybe he won't reach it. Who knows? But this leads me into my next point. I think the Chop Chop fruit is very important, and somebody in the past had that devil fruit. But maybe he doesn't even have a devil fruit, okay? Maybe it's just a powerhouse in hockey. I am on the fence of that. I'm really on the fence of both, okay? But what if he just has both? Because we know Blackbeard can eat two devil fruits. We know he has a special lineage. We know that he is Rox's son. Okay, so what if he has more than one? We don't know yet. We don't know anything. Okay. But another popular one is Rox having Blackbeard's Yami Yami Nomi, the dark fruit. I like that because, you know, they are related, and it would be dope to see Rox using it. And if it's awakened, maybe the Yami Yami no Mi is like Luffy's fruit, where it's the title is false and it's something else. And what if that is the Kraken fruit? The black being the ink, the darkness. I don't know. But I want to know what you guys think. What devil fruit do you think Rox Dizabek has? If he has a devil fruit, do you think he has more than one devil fruit? I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm almost at 7,000 subscribees. Please like and subscribe. But I guess that's it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye, motherfuckers.